every year we buy apples and apple cider from a local farm not too far from here, a place we get a lot of other produce from and things we can and that sort of thing. Then this year we went to Mother Earth News Fair. One of the presentations we attended was called Drinking the Harvest, and there's a book by the same name that I bought and read. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But it really kind of piqued our interest. You know, had an interest in, like all the other things that we do, making our own. You know, better quality, cheaper. We can customize it to the way we want. So just like all the other things we do in that vein, I got interested in doing that kind of thing ourselves. So I started reading up on it. I read Drink the Harvest, Drinking the Harvest. And after doing a little bit of research, off to the brew store I went to buy the supplies that I thought I needed. Now when I got there, all the supplies that I thought I needed were available cheaper in a kit which included the grapes and the materials to make one batch of wine. And I could get that cheaper than I could buy all of the individual components by themselves. So I decided to go that route. And what we're going to be doing today and over the next couple of videos is documenting my first foray into winemaking. So we're going to be making a Shiraz. I'm not a wine guy. I don't know exactly what the characteristics of a Shiraz are. I know it's a red wine, but that's what we're going to be making. I'm not going to be the most reliable judge of how it comes out because my palate is about as unsophisticated as you can get. Like I said, I'm not a big wine drinker, not a big drinker of anything, frankly, but I'll try to give you an honest review of how it tastes to me. Now, one thing I do want to address is the drinking of alcohol and wine, is that biblical or is it not? I don't really want to get into a big conversation on it in the thread, in the show notes, in the comments. Basically, I know what I believe. I believe in moderation. It's not a sin. I know other people may believe differently, and I respect those views. But again, I don't want it to become a big controversy in the comments. So with that, let's get into it, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so as we go through this, please keep in mind that I am no expert. This is my first time doing this, so we're going to be learning together. So the first step is to mix in some bentonite. I've got 4 cups of 4 cups. I'm going to check and make sure I had the amount right. Of hot water. Got my packet of bentonite here. Bentonite is used to absorb proteins, to remove proteins from the wine. So that's why we're adding it here. It's added at this initial stage. From what I've read, it initially settles out, but then as the wine begins to ferment, as the yeast begins to ferment the wine, it gets back in suspension and absorbs the protein. So that's what we're doing here. We're dissolving the bentonite in the warm water. Okay, our next step is to add the juice bag. Wish me luck here. Let's try it and not make a mess. Smells good. This could get interesting too. I need to open this bag of grape skins, pour them into this bag over that bucket, the primary fermenter, without making a mess. That was rough. I managed to keep the mess off the floor and out of the kitchen, but I had it all over my hands. Nice, sticky, gooey grape. At this point, I would ordinarily need to check the specific gravity. However, for this particular kit, because I'm using crushed grape skins, it also says that to check the you would get a more accurate reading checking it 12 to 24 hours after adding those grape skins. So I'll do that tomorrow. So next step is to add the oak wood shavings. We're making a Shiraz here, and in that case, that includes these oak shavings for flavoring. Obviously, those will be filtered out later. And lastly, before we put the lid and the bubbler on, we add our yeast. In this case, we're using, I have no idea how you pronounce it, Laufen EC1118. Just a regular wine yeast. I'm going to stir this up with these wood shavings for now, because you don't want to stir it up after you've added your yeast. Looks like they're probably just going to float on top in any case. This is what's called a bubbler. Well, it's what I call a bubbler. What you're doing here is basically, it's an airlock, which allows the gases produced by the fermentation to exit the primary fermenter without allowing air in from the outside. That looks good. So at this point, we're ready to smell that yeast. We're ready to remove our spoon here. Put our lid on. I'm going to put this on the floor to do this because I do not want 6 gallons of grape juice and yeast all over the floor. Apologize if you can't see this very well, but quite frankly, as important as the video is, it's more important that I don't get wine, I'm sorry, at this point, grape juice all over my wife's kitchen. So that's it for tonight. We've got the bubbler on, the lid secured. Tomorrow we'll open it up, we'll check the specific gravity, stir it up. We'll stir it once a day for the next 10 days, and then we'll move on to stage 2, so check back. So So that's it. We've got everything in the primary fermenter. The next video, this is going to be a series of videos. I suspect there will probably be 3 and then possibly a 1 to check the quality of the wine once it's had a chance to ferment and rest. The next one we will be doing checking on the primary fermentation, checking on the status of it, and then moving into secondary fermentation. And then after that we'll be doing the clearing and the bottling and the corking. So check back. If you want to, you can move on to the second video. It's right over here. Just click on that and it'll take you automatically to the second video. Please check out selfsufficientpath.com. And for the last thing, I've got another project that we'll be working on probably sometime in the later spring. But I'll give you a hint as to what it is. Check out this picture here. And I want to see if anybody can guess what this is. If you haven't guessed, put it in the comments down below. I was surprised at the number of people, even in my family, that didn't know what this was. So let's see if you guys can do any better. And again, I'll bring the second video up over here so you can click on that thumbnail again. Thanks for watching. See you next time.